Okay, so three-way internal corner, and then we've got an external corner here. So three-way internal corner using silicone. How do we do that? Let me show you quickly. Again, I get myself set up. I get my wipes. You're going to go through a lot of wipes. They're the best investment you can make, so get yourself a couple of packets of these, okay? Couple of packets. Okay, so I tidy up my nozzle, because if you have a look at my nozzle, it's a bit dodgy, so I get the wipe and I clean that up. I'm starting out with clean tools, clean equipment. Alright, so generally speaking, I don't really start on the outside, I'd start in the inside, and then I create my junction, my three-way, and then I tool that off, and then I do my straight lines. Now, I want you to notice something. That gap in there is pretty big, isn't it? I'm going to generally ask you to have 6mm gaps, and that's a little bit bigger than 6mm. So I'm just going to run with it, and we're going to see how it goes. All right? Because if you're a bit lazy and you're a bit funny on your applicator, when you're installing your plaster, you're going to encounter this. All right? So sealing in, just generally come out to there, and you can see here. I'm putting some sealant in, and I'm taking the pressure off with my thumb here, yeah, so that no sealant can come out that end of the nozzle. So I generally go in, okay, that's generally what I end up doing, but because that gap is so big in that corner, in that vertical there, I'm just going to put a little bit more sealant in there, okay, so I end up with something similar to that. Now you're going to need your cloths. I get my paddle pop stick, and in this case I'm using my caulking knife, and I tool off. Okay, so then I can come out. Yeah, I don't want to take too much out of that that corner junction in there, because that's a really critical junction in there. So I want to try and keep as much sealant in there as I can, but I also don't want to not have enough in there. So you can see here that I've generally got my profile that I want. Now I'm just tidying it up. Okay, so you can see that I'm just changing the angle of my knife, or your paddle pop stick. Alright, once I get to the point where I'm happy with that, then I can get my yellow profile tool, and then I can just gently scrape out the wall residue and make it look nice and neat. Now I took too much product out there, you can see that. So I took too much product out there, so I'm going to add a little bit more in, and I'm just going to profile that again. Okay. So again, I get my profiling. Take your time. No one's rushing you. I'd rather you get this skill correct. Get your skill correct, because it's a critical skill to understand and be good at. Because remember, wherever we put silicone, that's where the membrane won't stick. So here, so I can just go across there like that. I can go in there somewhere like that. Okay, and then after that, once you've got that three-way internal corner done, because you got, you might have one there and you might have one there, what you can do is you can just keep going along. You might do that corner there and then infill the middle bit. How do we do this external corner? Same sort of fashion. Keep my nozzle clean, everything clean. Okay, so I then fill up the gap. Now, this one, the critical part of this is down here in this junction down here. So I definitely want to put some sealant in there. Okay, so you can see we've got a lot of sealant in there. So I get another wipe, because the wipe that I've been using. Now, I find that if you use a dry rag, they get too clogged up quickly. So you can see that we've got a lot of sealant there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my yellow tool and I'm just going to remove some of the sealant. Just gently, because again, wherever we put silicone, the membrane won't bond. So you can see I've tidied that up. Now what I'm going to do is tidy this really critical three-way little junction. So here, I just gently take my time and just remove some of the excess without pushing it out too far. So I'll come around the corner here. I can shape that, and I'm adjusting my pressure, how much pressure I put on that knife. Okay. Change the angle. Okay. I'm going to pick you up so you can just generally get a better view. So here, come around here, change the pressure, take the lighter touch, come around here, and then tool off. So you can see that I've got a nice curved profile down there. That's generally what I'm after. Okay, so here I'll put you back here. Tool off, swap tools so that I can tool off up there. Now see all these residue here? Can you see all this residue here? I want to get rid of that. So I could use this tool because it's got a flat edge on it, and I can take all that residue off without altering the profile. Or I could get my knife, change the angle, and come in at a different angle on it. But all the while, I don't want to remove too much material out of that corner there, because that's a really critical area that water will penetrate if you don't seal it up properly. Okay. And then I just tidy myself up. Because you've also got to think about who's coming after you as the waterproof trade. Who's going to be generally coming in after you? It's going to be the tiler, isn't it? So you want to really make sure that your sealant applications are really critically good, because you don't want to have a massive build up in here that the tiler is going to have to get their knife out and cut out, because they're going to put their tile here. Probably not hard up against the wall, but generally off the wall a bit. And if you've got a big massive build up of silicone or sealant in there, they're just going to shake their heads and cut it out so they can fit their tiles. So if you can learn this skill on how to seal neatly, especially using silicone, remember, because wherever we put silicone, the membrane won't bond to. If you can learn that skill, that critical three-way external corner, because this is an external corner, that's the internal corner. If you can learn those and get a really nice neat outcome out of them, then that's a really good skill to understand and learn. Okay, so what's my expectations for you? Expectations for you are that you can do this. You can neatly work, not have silicone everywhere. You can use the tools that we generally show you how to use, such as these things and these things. You can keep yourself neat, keep your workplace neat, and get a compliant, good outcome, waterproof outcome that's going to be compliant and do everything the membrane manufacturer wants us to do with their membrane. All right. See you in class.